Chase smiled from his bed and gazed out the window on the far side of the room. His vision wasn't what it was, but even in his failing state he could clearly make out the flurries of snow falling past his window. He looked at his sitting guest beside him and cleared his throat to speak once more.
She kept her promise, too. Every moment I had doubt, she would blow it away with reassuring words.
He laughed.
Hey, I even remember meeting her friends, though I can't quite recall their names. But there was this yellow mare. She seemed more afraid than I was.
He broke out into a coughing fit, his guest springing up to check on him. He shook his head and held up a hoof. After a moment, he recomposed himself and inhaled.
I'm fine now, Nurse Hearthwind.
The nurse nodded and reclaimed her seat.
If you're sure, Mr. Chaser. Do you need any water?
Chase shook his head in response.
Okay, please continue.
I remember the snow being as cold as it was the night before, but it was different. Being around Pinky and her friends was all the warmth that this stallion needed to be comfortable. It was the first time in what felt like years that I actually felt accepted.
Nurse Hearthwind smiled.
They all sound like very nice ponies.
Oh, they really were. There was this one spunky one, Rainbow something another. She was quite the competitive Pegasus. She just trotted up behind me with a snowballing hoof and caught me off guard. And you know what I did?
What's that?
Chase chuckled.
I picked up a snowball and threw it right back at her. Only difference was she was rolling on the ground laughing when I did it. That shut her up real quick. So the two of us just started throwing snow at one another. It was great. Then the others joined in, followed by Pinky and this cannon filled with snow.
He shook his head, smirking at the thought.
It was pretty unfair, you know, bringing a cannon to a hoof fight. But the snow hit every pony except me, and she just winked. The others didn't stand a chance.
He broke into another laughing cough fit, this time accepting the invitation of water from the nurse. He took a sip from the glass and sighed, giving it back to Hearthwind.
Thank you.
Hearthwind nodded and placed the glass back down on the tray by his bed.
The rest of the day was filled with the same excitement and laughter. By the end of it, Pinky and I were the only ones left. I told her like it was. I had had the best day of my life.
He smiled at his nurse.
How could I not say that? Coming from such a terrible ordeal, I'm sure you'd say the same thing. But as we sat beneath the protection of a tree, she told me something. She said I should follow my heart. It was a totally different tone than what she first had when I met her. But still, it made sense. So that's what I decided to do. My heart told me to find Starshine, to apologize for everything and restart my life.
That's very nice.
Nurse Hearthwind smiled.
Did you?
Nope, I didn't.
Why not?
Because that's not what my heart really wanted. I only thought it did.
He sighed.
Pinky didn't want me to go at first, but I felt I needed to. Maybe it was to complete myself. I have no clue. But before I left, she told me she would find me again and make sure I found my happiness. She made a Pinky promise on that.
Chase caught Hearthwind's sky-blue eyes in his stare.
It'll be 30 years ago this hearth-warming eve, and she never found me. I don't know if she just forgot about me and moved on or what, but I know I never forgot her. I could never forget her, even during my travels.
Hearthwind brought a hoof up to her chin.
Did you ever write her a letter?
I did, several over the years. She never replied. I'd like to think that she never received them, but I'm not sure.
The old stallion sighed and sank into his covers, laying his head on the pillow.
I think I found my happiness on that day. Life was so simple in Ponyville, and I was accepted there. I left my happiness behind when I left that town, when I left Pinkie Pie.
He rolled over on his side, closed his eyes, and sighed.
What I wouldn't give to see that pink mare once more, Just one more time before I leave this place.
Nurse Hearthwind looked at him and smiled sadly.
Maybe one day, Mr. Chaser.